3, 2, 1, fire.
So I'm going to take the emails I received over the last little while that are, well, let's just call a spade, complaints that there's no show today. And yes, there was no show Wednesday, there was no show Thursday, there was no show Friday. And people complained. I'm going to take that as a good sign. It means you love me. You really love me. And you're into what we're doing here on It's Your Call. Hey, my apologies. Wednesday, just Thursday, Friday, I said I will not be here. I was traveling to and from Peterborough. I produce a number of bingo shows and other events. It's one of the many businesses that I'm in. So I was on the road Thursday to Peterborough, setting up, DJing that event, and then Friday was on my way back. Wednesday, Wednesday I kind of played hooky, sort of, kind of. I had acquired an RV, gone through the inspection process, thanks to our friends at McCarthy Automotive, by the way, bringing you It's Your Call, 1150 Heron Road. The inspection certificate was going to expire, and I needed to get the ownership transferred, etc. And I totally left it to the last minute. Anyway, so Wednesday ended up being just absolutely chaotic, but it's all worked out. It's all resolved. I officially own the RV now and can't wait to get that on the road. It's going to be a huge mental health campaign that we're launching in the spring. So anyway, so that's that. But yes, certainly. Why is there no show? I'm not hearing you. I don't understand. I appreciate that you tune in and that you want the show. There's Ann saying, I'm glad there's a show today. We missed you, John. I missed you, Ann. Aw. Can we all have like a big group hug now? That would be so wonderful. Into the mailbag I go. I'm going to paraphrase some of these because some of them get quite long. Somebody's very, very upset. Are you reading my emails? Are you reading them? I'm not hearing back from you. Are you reading them? Yes, and I have acknowledged your emails several times now on the show. I read every email, every comment I get. Look, I just don't have the time to sit down and write out responses to every single email I get. Know that they are read, know that they are appreciated. Just understand, I'm doing a daily show on BTR. I'm doing this show. I am doing a daily show on WSRQ in Sarasota, Florida. I do 3 weekend shows on stations in Southern Ontario. On top of that, I run a business full-time. Several businesses, in fact. So I don't always get a chance to bang out a response. But yes, I appreciate that you are listening. I appreciate your comments. They are read. And on the average day, I receive probably in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 emails, texts, etc. I can't. I can't. So yes, thank you. I read your emails. And listen, if you want to make sure that you're heard, call the show. There you go. Somebody else commented that they don't always want this show to be about politics. Well, it's not always about politics, but I hear you. This person is concerned that the show could become Ottawa-centric. I get that. I'm really trying to make sure that we pick topics that are somewhat universal. But you have to understand as well that I am based in Ottawa. This is where the radio station is founded. It is where our sponsors exist. It is where we seem to get the most attention from. If that changes, if all of a sudden Edmonton or Winnipeg or somewhere else is dominating the conversation, we'll happily, go where the waves are pushing us to go. But I hear you. And I would say, like we talked about the mayor and the LRT, that was kind of a big deal. And not just for Ottawa, but don't forget provincially and federally, people have quite the investment in this light rail system and all of our light rail systems across the country. The same person also wants the show to go 1 hour. I want the show to go an hour as well. I absolutely do. I can't always make that happen, but I would love for the show to go an hour. And in fact, their next comment is kind of what helps determine whether the show goes an hour. I can't just talk to myself for an hour. Well, I mean, I can, but it's not very compelling in my opinion. In fact, my brain starts screaming at me after a while, shut up, shut up, shut up. But their comment is, I want you to take more phone calls. Well, I promise you this. If we get a phone call, I will take it. If we don't get phone calls, I can't really put phone calls on the air. So that's up to you. And yeah, the show is called It's Your Call. So if you'd like to make a call on today's subject or anything that's on your mind, you're always welcome to bring up whatever's on your mind, by the way. It's your call. 613-604-6464. Maybe you are a snowbird in the States. Maybe you're listening in the States. 941-725-6455. 941-725-MILK. All right, there you go. Oh, by the way, you can also, if you don't want to call the show, you can also fire up the old video camera. If you go to itsyourcall.ca, there's a video link there. If you're not comfortable on the camera, that's fine. Turn the camera off as long as we can hear you. Chrissy says, Superman, seriously, you rock, John. Chrissy, I don't know that I rock. I am very, very tired. I gotta be cutting some of this stuff out that I'm doing. Believe me, that work is in progress. Yeah, I need to focus on fewer things. So, taking over the talk show was obviously unexpected. Okay, we all know the story there. Kim says, this is my phone call. Well, there you go. See, a lot of people they just want to comment in the comment section, and that's fine too. It's not the same as a phone call, but I'll take it. We have a comment in already from Donna. She says, I missed your shows. Sounds like you need a receptionist. Donna, there's a lot of things I need. Would you like to see my Christmas wish list? An accountant. I need an accountant in a big bad way, a bookkeeper. And on goes the list. All right, listen, here's what I want to get into today. And if you're concerned that this is an Ottawa-centric show and you want things in a more general sense, then you're going to be very, very happy with me today. Well, let me just ask you the question. Have you ever been the victim of a scam? Because here we are at Christmas, and of course, it's a busy time of year for scammers. Every second email seems to be, some obvious, and maybe I say obvious. It's obvious to me. It may not be as obvious to some, which is probably why these scams do so well. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, you say anti or anti? Anyway, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center says nearly $421 million has been lost to fraud in Canada this year. Last year, $383.6 million. So that's up not quite $100 million, but darn close. Have you ever been the victim of a scam? And some of them, I mean, they look so legitimate. I was so happy on the family Zoom call yesterday. My dad's 85, 86. He says, they're getting really good. He says, I got an email the other day and it looked like it was from Rogers. He says, but then I moved over the link and I could see that it wasn't taking me to the Rogers website. I'm like, he knows. But yeah, some of these scams are set up to look so legitimate and you have to do like a real double take. Some of them are obvious. My RBC bank account has an excess of funds that I need to withdraw. Well, I don't bank with RBC, so that one I can automatically discount. But then every now and then I do bank with Scotiabank. Every now and then I'll get an email from Scotiabank, and I have to do a double take and go, oh, is this legitimate or not? And yeah, some of them look so authentic. James says, this just in, no business or government agency accepts Apple Music cards. James, I'm glad you brought that up. And Jules is waiting to get on the show. I always love talking to Jules. Jules, we'll get you in just a sec. You hang out there in the green room. I love that smile. She's always so great. Yeah, remember that a few years ago? A woman, I believe she was here in Ottawa, and someone who had worked in the government, like held a very high position in the government and should know better. And this is just, again, it speaks to how vulnerable people are, or unaware people are. And she gets a phone call, I guess, from quote unquote, CRA, demanding that she pay these fines that she's owing the government by going to Walmart and getting iTunes gift cards. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, to the average person, I think to the majority of us, that's just suspicious enough that, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But all it takes is those one or two people here and there who just think, okay, that's my way out of it. I'll go to Walmart right now and buy all the iTunes gift cards. It's scary, and it's especially scary if you've got elderly parents and you're really worried about them falling down that rabbit hole. Satan's Playmate says they also do not accept crypto. The crypto's a big one. We're going to get to some of the top scams out there right now. But Jules is on the video conference doohickey thingamajiggy. What do we call this video conference doohickey thingamajiggy? We've got to come up for it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
And I can see you, and you have what appears to be the coziest hoodie or thing going on. What is that? That looks like heaven.
It's called an hoodie. It's like a big sweater. It goes like down to your like past your knees.
Oh my gosh, I need me one of those. Santa, I hope you see that. That's fantastic. Bet you that's really cozy.
Just keeps you nice and warm.
Nice. Have you ever been the victim of a scam, Julie?
We kind of have. It's kind of a story, but years ago, people were stealing our mail when we used to get mail in our mailboxes. And we ended up finding that because they were stealing our mail, someone had purchased all these phones off at Rogers on our account. And we were on the hook for it as well, opened credit cards in my name. And so to this day, I still have Equifax and whatever. And I have like a huge security, like anytime I make a big purchase,
right?
All these companies need to call me. And I have to go through a security process, which is a kind of a pain, like when you buy a car or a big purchase.
Yeah.
But it's a security because this happened.
Well, in fairness, you're not always, when you buy a car, you're not necessarily putting that on your credit card, right?
No, well, no, but
I'm being silly, but yeah.
Yeah, but because this happened to us, and like we were on the hook, and we were saying we didn't buy this and whatnot, and it took years to get this cleared off my credit.
So I understand. I mean, look, in the old days, you could look in the phone book and get somebody's name and their address and their phone number. But what else? I mean, they're stealing your mail. What kind of stuff did they steal that was able to, put them in a position to be able to assume your identity?
All they needed was my account number, my name, and they were able to do upgrades on my phones, which we didn't know, and they did upgrades and they added phones to my account.
So if I'm calling the cell phone company and I want to make upgrades to the account, the cell phone company is not likely to be asking too many questions then, I assume, about, I've got a phone call coming in, they're not going to be asking too many questions about other business that I want to tend to once I've committed to the upgrade. I've, quote unquote, right?
So now they ask for I hope they ask for your birthday or whatever, but no, they just had my account number. They had my name. They had my last bill payment because they had my bill.
Sure.
So they were able to they were like, oh, well, here's my bill. This is me. So they were able to do whatever. And because of that, we were on the hook for a long time, and that hit my credit, and it destroyed my credit for the longest time. And then I was able to replenish it, but it was a horrible.
So you're back in a good place now then, and your credit's restored,
but now I have a very secure feature on my credit line so that if something does happen, like somebody tries to buy something, a big purchase, I get a phone call.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I think it's a very good security measure that the banks have in place. I think I've got mine set to $500 is the limit, and anything over that, I've got to call the bank personally and arrange for it ahead of time. And I've seen people at stores, and I'm sure you have too, where they have that and they forget that it's there, and the store's not allowing them to make the purchase, and they get all upset and angry. It's like, no, these protections are there, for you.
That's right. So. And they're getting better at these scams too. If you watched watched a documentary series, and they're getting a lot better, and they have people trying to like counteract them, but they'll get on you and they say, okay, well, I need you to do this on your computer, this on your computer. And what they're doing is
Oh,
they're
yeah.
actually going into your computer
Right.
and trying to get you to send the money and
Remember those
whatnot.
calls? Microsoft calling. We've detected a problem with your computer. Just click here and do this. I mean, of course, all you're doing is allowing them permissions to be able to poke holes in your computer and get in there. And again, I think a lot of people they're not aware of how all of these systems work and just how vulnerable they are. Anyway, Julie, I'm glad you're in a better place with that. Thank you for calling the show via video link. We appreciate that. The show is brought to you by McCarthy Automotive, 1150 Heron Road, McCarthyAutomotive.ca. We do have a phone call, 613-604-6464. Hi there. Can we get your name, please?
Sure, Vinyl Spinner here. John, how are you?
I'm sexy. Thanks for asking.
There you go. So, to build on what Jules was talking about,
Yeah.
those two credit companies, TransUnion and Equifax, they provide a service where you can put a tag if you've had any activity on your accounts, credit pokes into your system. They'll put a fraud alert on there, which is good for 6 years. And anything whatsoever that goes through, anybody trying to open up anything under your name or checking under your name, that organization that's doing the checking, they've got to call you by law to see if it's you or not. And it's really a peace of mind and something that I suggest for everybody to do.
I agree. And it's kind of sad that you have to ask for that to be put in place. I remember going to my bank saying, I'm seeing some suspicious activity on my account. Is there any way for you to warn me? Oh, yeah, no problem. Why is that not automatic? These checks, I guess because labor intensive. Is that it?
Not only the checks and balances aren't there from a system perspective. They got to read the notes. They got to see. There's not like a flag that your account's going to start flashing red and all that stuff. That's the first thing. But from a hacker's perspective, there's logarithms out there right now that are doing date of births and name matches. And when they get a hit on that, they can go in and start opening anything up. That's why it's really important to make sure you have some sort of flag within Equifax and TransUnion.
And a lot of that comes back to our social media habits, doesn't it? And these seemingly, and this is what people don't understand, like these quizzes come from, more often than not, the very same place, or they're working together, but it's culling, it's collecting all of this data. And so answering something that seems innocuous at the time, where you have to enter your birth date, well, you've just given away information that ends up goodness knows where and can be matched up way too easily to other information you've given. And suddenly they're into everything that you've ever touched financially in your life.
Totally agree. They piecemeal the questions. 1 month they're going to ask, what month are you born in? Or what's your sign?
Right.
What month are you born in? And the following, what year were you born in? And they'll give you 10 years.
First pet name, right? Because everybody uses a pet name in their password. Let's be honest. Yep.
Exactly. So, we really have to be vigilant in today's life, especially with social media. And there you go.
Have you ever been a victim of any scam?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So not scam per se, but credit card compromised, but the credit card company was totally awesome, where I got texted right away. Yep. I got a call on the heels of the text. 2 weeks ago, I get an email from Equifax saying that a profile check on your account was done. They gave me the name of the organization. I called the organization. First time they said, well, no, there's nothing there. And it's like, I call Equifax. Equifax says, no, there's something there. Go to the institution that, we're telling you.
Yep.
Turns out that somebody in another city, and this is why I shared with you, the date randomizer did a match on my BOD and my name. We were able to shut it down. They redirected it all to me. So if anything got released, it's not going to go to the fictitious address or the fraudulent address.
Okay.
And we got it shut down. Investigation right now. So I never post anything. I never give any personal information other than government, bank. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I've had my credit card compromised a couple of times, and I mean the banks are actually really good at it. And interestingly, the first time it happened to me, I got a phone call from like some jewelry store in the States. Hi, it's our policy just to call the cardholder and ensure that in fact this purchase is legit. And it wasn't. It was like a tennis bracelet and a necklace. And I said, "Oh, I'm so glad you called. No, of course I didn't order those." And the person's response was, "Are you sure? Because they're lovely." I'm like, I bet they are. But that, that put me down the path. And I called the bank and I said, somebody just tried to process this. The bank said, let's review some of your recent purchases. And it turns out there were 2 flights to somewhere in Africa purchased on my account. And I said, now, why wouldn't that have been flagged? I said, that's suspicious activity. She says, well, because you have other travel on your account. And I said, well, yeah, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, then Las Vegas, followed by a trip to Las Vegas and then Las Vegas. And she goes, yeah, Africa is a little strange, but it just flags travel. But anyway, it's
unbelievable.
Yep. And it's amazing. Like I'm now in the habit of every gas pump, because I know that they've got these little inserts that they can put in there. I pull the gas, at the gas tank, I pull on it every single time. And I've even seen one recently where, there's bank machines where they're able to put a little piece of metal across where the money comes out. And, you withdraw, $500, $600, the cash doesn't come out. Well, as soon as you leave in frustration to go and make a phone call or whatever else, somebody comes along, pulls the metal off, grabs your cash, puts the metal back on, scams the next person. It's everywhere. What a world.
There you go. Got to beware.
I appreciate your weighing in on this. Thank you very much for calling. It's your call. All set for Christmas or
take care.
Yeah. Are you all set for Christmas? How
rock
you doing?
And roll.
Yeah,
rock and roll.
All right.
For sure. For sure.
Good. We'll talk more about Christmas as we get closer to it. All right. Keep those phone calls. Keep those comments rolling in. Equifax is free, says Donna. TransUnion is $5 plus taxes. I have it too, as my name is very common. Recommended by my bank. Satan's Playmate says people need to stop clicking on these apps. Oh, you have no idea the conversations I have with people in my inner circle about that. Stop clicking on the things. Oh, but they're fun. I'm sure they are. But it's, I have my antivirus. Yeah. And it's not catching the new stuff. It's catching the things that it knows about already. This is amazing, says Anne. My doctor has a health portal and I get an email supposedly from my clinic asking me to enter my birth date to get into the message. Scam. They would never do that. You have an email and password to get into the portal. So I just ignored it. But these guys are good. It's creepy that they case you like that. People should watch what they post on Facebook, honestly. And you're right. And people just don't realize what they're posting on social media and how it's used. Chris says YouTubers Kit, Boga, and Pierogi have dedicated their livelihoods to taking down these call centers. They pretend to be vulnerable elderly people, and when the scammers log in, they access the scammer computer. They'll delete the scammer files, find their real names and location, and work that government. So it's in reverse. I love that. Chris is all-knowing on things on the internet that are going on like that. Chris, you're a fun guy. Can't wait to get you back on the air and doing the show with us. F. Van Boxel says, no legitimate business would ask to repay an overpayment in gift cards, iTunes or otherwise. Is there a Walmart in India? Information mining is exactly what it's called. Yep, you answer these quizzes and it seems innocent, but the people getting those responses, okay, more information from insert your name here, and it adds up over and over and over again. Next thing you know, you're wondering, why am I out money? Why do I have viruses on my computer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Even those chain letters with copy paste, some have keys to Trojans and malware. You know what? That's a great comment too. People talk about this antivirus software. That's great. And it's going to catch a good number of things that it knows are out there. But what people don't see, I just downloaded a thing. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. But you don't see everything else that's coming in along with it, that is installing itself in your computer and doing other things and not making itself known to you. You'd think your antivirus software would catch that. But if this is a new scam, if it's, listen, the people creating this stuff, they know what Norton and McAfee and all of that stuff are seeing. And they're way ahead of that. Norton and McAfee, et cetera, are playing catch up to that stuff. TikTok is another data mining application that people may not be aware of. See, Vinyl Spinner, thank you for saying that, because I I wrestle with TikTok. I have a TikTok account. We were just talking about this on my morning show, actually, with Carrie and the Milkman. She's having a lot of fun on TikTok, watching her numbers rise for just doing silly, goofy, she put a rock in her drawer and said, a friend of mine who's a gemologist said that this rock is worth thousands of dollars. It's very rare, just to see the hits go. And so I looked back into my TikTok, and I remember deleting it a while ago because, yeah, it's Chinese owned. We're not aware where that information goes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Be very, very careful with what you are, and just these agreements. When you download an app, I agree to this. You're allowing it access to your friends list a lot of the time. Now it's messaging your friends. This fabulous and 40 thing that's going around. Have you seen that one? That is mining your friends list and sending them other things and trying to fish them in. It's really, if these people had real jobs, we could really do something in this world. Mark's on YouTube. He says, a few years back, a hotel employee in Toronto took my credit card information when we checked in and bought himself an Air Canada vacation. I'm interested how you know that it was a hotel employee, and were they caught? Mark, we're missing pieces to the conversation. Fill us in. Chrissy says, these scammers need something else to do. Wonder if a scammer can scam another scammer. Yes, they do. Absolutely. That's the old Ocean's 8, right? They're trying to out-scam the other scammers that they know are out there. Gigi in Halifax. Oh, I miss you. I was thinking of you just the other day. Hope things are good in Halifax. On Facebook, those posts are called data mining. We don't allow any of those posts in the groups I have for this exact reason. Hackers love that information. TikTok is CCP owned. Not a chance I'd use that. Oh, Gail misses me too. Lovely. Listen, the show is brought to you by McCarthy Automotive. You are not going to get scammed at McCarthy Automotive. In fact, you'll be feeling very refreshed that, oh my gosh, in a world of scams, I'm dealing with someone who is straightforward, honest, and giving me the straight goods. And by the way, I just talked a little while ago about being a procrastinator. They did the inspection on my RV, and I waited till the very last day to go and transfer the ownership. If you've been procrastinating on winter tires, been living in denial that winter's coming, I got good news for you. McCarthy Automotive still has plenty of winter tires in stock. Major brands, they're all available to you. They even offer winter tire storage and all-season tire storage as well. There's nothing, listen, that's a lot of space in your garage, just storing tires. Let them take care of that. It leaves room for your snowblower in the winter and your golf clubs in the summertime, etc. But not just tires. Auto maintenance, repair, whether it's a battery, exhaust system, brakes, and listen, drive by 1150 Heron Road. You will see some of the biggest names in delivery vehicles, etc., and on. Just some of the biggest names that run fleet vehicles. This is a busy time of year for them. Who are they trusting to get their vehicles serviced and back on the road on time and running right? McCarthy Automotive. 1150 Heron Road, family owned, family operated. The owner is right there in the store. You are going to be so happy to have found McCarthy Automotive. Let them know Mielke sent you. McCarthyAutomotive.ca. And F. Van Boxel adds, McCarthy is a great place to have your nuts torqued. Yes, they are. You know what? We joke about that. One of the very first campaigns I did for them, we talked about torquing nuts, which I know sounds funny on the ear, but on the ear every time you hear it. Well, but they're very, very serious about that. And how many times do you see stories of vehicles driving down the road and they lose a wheel? There was a story just the other day of a woman from Ottawa, I believe, on the 401. A wheel flew off a vehicle and like landed in her windshield. And she was, if not killed, very seriously injured. Listen, McCarthy Automotive takes that very, very seriously. It's such a simple thing to avoid. Anytime you are in for service and a wheel has to come off, be it brakes, be it a tire change, anything that the wheel is off, after 100 kilometers of driving, just circle back to McCarthy Automotive and have them torque your nuts. It's just resetting them to the factory specs. It just helps to ensure that wheel is not going to come falling off on you. All right. A little long-winded on that, but there you go. Chrissy says, just got an email. My Apple ID had been blocked. I have nothing Apple owned. Chrissy, that's what prompted this entire conversation today. I am getting notifications left, right, and center that somebody is trying to access my Apple. And I'm beside myself now. Just nope. In fact, I've changed my password And I suspect that what's actually happening is my other devices are trying to log on, and I haven't set them up yet. Anyway. Yo from France, bro. Le siesta, I believe that's France. Blue, white, followed by red. C'est la France, ça? Oui. Bonjour, France. Bienvenue chez blasttheradio.com, and it's your call. F. Van Boxtel says, if a big truck tire comes off on the highway, it's deadly. Listen, if any tire comes off on the highway or at any, area where there's high rate of speed. Anyway, that's the only place I had to show my card on our way to a resort in Dominican Republic, says Mark. So there you go. Lots of scams out there. Let me just run down some of the ones that the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center says are big this year. Counterfeit merchandise is a big one. Online advertisements that appear to include huge and flashy discounts that lead to sites posing as legitimate businesses. I'm seeing this. It's popping up in my timeline all the time. There's a company wanting to sell me CFL gear. That's not CFL licensed. Okay, so when I'm doing business with that place, what are they actually doing with my information? Selling goods and services online. Sellers are being warned by the agency to always accept payment first before giving products away. I was selling some microphones and camera gear the other day, and that's my big fear. The number of people asking, will you ship? Sorry, no. And you know what? Chances are a lot of them are they're legitimate. They're out of town. They'd like to have this item, but I'm not willing to ship it. Nope. Fake charities. Fake charities. They are at your door all the time. Somebody on my Facebook was upset the other day that they felt they got scammed because somebody knocked on the door. These chocolate bars go to help poor countries here, blah, 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 blah. And then they looked online. There is no such campaign. Hey, when you're craving chocolate at your door, I can almost forgive that. Crypto investment scams are one of the biggest ones out there right now. Why is it every second friend request I get these days is from someone who, first off, looks like they belong on the cover of a fashion magazine, and shockingly, they're a cryptocurrency expert in some far-off place. Notre ami à France apprécie mon français. Mon français, c'est vraiment québécois. I'm glad to speak. I don't get to speak French very, very often, so it's fun to practice that. Online shopping is a big scam. Make sure you are shopping at legitimate stores, places you know and trust, and not because you clicked on them, but because you actually went to the legitimate website. If you get an email saying, click here to buy this on Amazon, no. Go to Amazon yourself. Look for that item and buy it from Amazon, for example. Phishing emails and texts, those are emails that appear to be from trustworthy sources, your bank, shipping companies, and they ask you to click on a link and confirm some personal information. Be aware of that. And Secret Santa, apparently, right now. This is a big one to watch out for. Those looking to participate in online gift exchanges. Are we seriously at this point now where we're trying to exchange gifts with random strangers online? Apparently we are. You're being asked to reconsider this. The agency says that these exchanges are often pyramid schemes where only a few at the top benefit. They also said the scheme could result in people giving away their personal information, and on it goes. Google CAFC. That is the their official name is the Canada Anti-Fraud Center. They've got a whole list of some of the scams that are out there right now so that you can try and avoid them. Don't buy from Wish or Amazon, says F. Van Boxtel. I have had no problem with Wish. I have had no problem with Amazon whatsoever. Oh, sometimes the things from Wish come and they're cheap, whatever else, but the product's always shown up. So I have no issue whatsoever dealing with either of those companies. Ship it, John. Just make sure that the dollars are in your PayPal or e-transfer account. I won't touch PayPal. I had my credit card compromised there once, so I'm just nervous about it. I know that they have checks and balances in place. Make sure that includes your shipping costs, picture delivering the post office, and send it to them. And then call it a day. Sean says, I got hit on a counterfeit website, but noticed it in minutes after the transaction. Visa refunded me my money as soon as I reported it. That had to make your heart sink. Ugh. Yep. Too many of these. Listen, there's one that pops up in my timeline constantly where I can have Mielke branded hats and shirts, etc. I'm sorry. That's just creepy that my name is Mielke and you've been able to auto-generate an ad. No, I'm not clicking on that. Like, when in doubt, leave it out, right? Someone calls and says, one of your family's in jail, send bail money. Yeah, that's a scam that a lot of seniors have fallen for. Your grandson's in jail, send bail money. Anne says it's sad that a lot of these schemers seem to prey on older folks who are not very tech savvy. Absolutely. And Chrissy says the elderly are so vulnerable. It's so sad. There you go. Hey, we're back at it. It's Your Call, here for you weekdays. And I should be here all of this week, by the way, diving into a variety of topics. And if you've got topic suggestions, things you want to talk about, get in touch. You'll find us online. It's yourcall.ca.